What would happen if we turned the Booker Prize into a democracy? Hello, I'm back for another geeky fun video today, taking a different approach to looking at this year's Booker Prize long list, because I sometimes wonder about this award. What if instead of the best novel of the year being chosen only by 5 readers, as the Booker Prize does, what if it was open up to the public? What if there was a democratic vote to decide what is the best novel of the past year? And I thought I would do a fun experiment to try to determine this and come up with an alternative shortlist and winner for this year's award. And how I'm going to do this is by looking at GoodReads and the average ratings for each of the long-listed novels up for this year's award, and going through each of them. They each have an average star rating. They each have a number of reviews and recommendations. So yeah, so I've pulled up GoodReads for that, and I've not researched yet what the actual ratings are. So I'll be discovering this in real time, and I'm a bit nervous about what the results may be. Now, there's a number of issues with GoodReads, but also with taking this approach in general, this kind of democratic approach, because obviously not all of these readers will have read all of the long-listed books, and certainly not the 169 novels that were submitted to the Booker Prize committee for judging this year's award. So, I often think when there's kind of knee-jerk reactions to the lists that are announced, and readers say, oh, how could the judges make these choices? This is an outrage that this one particular book that I loved wasn't on the Booker Prize list. And it's like, well, have you read 169 novels that were all published within the past year? Probably not, unless you're really on top of that. And have you also spent multiple hours sitting down with 4 other people discussing all of these books in detail? I mean, probably not. Now, that of course doesn't mean that readers' opinions aren't valid, and I mean, that is part of the fun of the prize, that readers all chime in with what they've read and their suggestions, books that they're really rooting for, others that they might not have enjoyed so much. And yeah, that's part of the great pleasure of the award, because really I think all the Booker Prize is doing is setting forward some books and saying, these are the choices we've made, and you may agree or disagree, but it's all open for debate. And also there's issues with looking at GoodReads and the books that were published. Obviously, not all readers will have access to all of the books. Not all of these books will have necessarily been published in every country. They might not have as much availability because different publishers have, some publishers will have like a big marketing budget and will have pushed these books. Some of these are well-known authors that have been read by many and have many ratings on here. Other books might not have been distributed as much. There might not be as many library copies. So yeah, we'll have less ratings. And so yeah, it's not a perfect system, but it's just a fun, different approach to look at this year's long list. And so I'm going to go through title by title and look at the average star rating, note how many reviews and ratings it's been given, but also read some snippets of some 5-star reviews, but also some 1-star reviews, just to show how there's a wide spectrum of opinions on all of these books, and different readers will take so many different approaches to them and have so many different responses to them. And again, that's just all part of the fun. So to kick things off, we are going to start with Glory. So I'm going to look up Glory on GoodReads and see. Now, obviously, these are just the current ratings. These are changing all the time as more readers are reading these and rating them on GoodReads. So this is just based on today. So today, the average star rating for this novel is 3.81 stars, which is fairly, respectable, and kind of what I was expecting based on the semi-mixed reviews I've seen from it. It's had 886 ratings and 214 reviews. And some 5-star opinions of this book say, "When I say the reader laughed and cried, what I mean is the reader laughed and cried. Tholakuthi cried and laughed. Another 5-star review says, "Wow, I loved this book. It is so clever. It hit my sense of humor while still making important points about abuse of power in our world." Now let's look at some 1-star reviews, and I'm a little bit nervous about this because I did love this novel. One reviewer says, "This is an imaginative book completely spoiled for me by the writing, which is both pretentious and mechanically poor." Another 1-star review says, "I read a Kindle sample and struggled to follow it, so I tried listening to it as an audiobook, but 3 hours in, I decided to give up as my interest had been lost and there was still 12 hours to go." So, wow, yeah, some very different opinions on the same novel. Next up is Trust. So let's look up its page, and it has an average star rating of 3.89. So, okay, wow, just a little bit more than Glory. It has 8,477 ratings, considerably more than Glory, and 1,516 reviews. So let's look at some 5-star reviews. There's one by none other than Roxanne Gay. I love that she still posts on GoodReads. She says, "This is sublime, richly layered novel, a story within a story within a story. Elegantly written, feels like an homage to Edith Wharton." Wow. And then there is another 5-star review by Daryl Sweet, who's a bookstagrammer that I love following, and he has really great opinions, and he's a big fan of the Booker Prize, and he writes, "OMG," and he spells those out phonetically. "I'm begging you to stick it out with this one, pleading. It pays off, I promise you, when part 3 hits and the narrative begins to morph into what this story truly is. Damn. A masterful novel on the powers of perception, wealth, privilege, clout, and manipulation." What a great summary of this. It makes me want to really get to reading this, because this is one of the long-listed ones I've still not read yet. So let's look at some 1-star reviews. So one says, "Ultimately very disappointing, at times deliberately so. 1 star rounded down for its appearance on an otherwise strong Booker list." Ooh, controversial opinions. And another 1-star review says, "Did I miss something? Why all the praise for this book? I think it's hiding behind the unusual structure that it's actually rather boring and cliche." Ooh. Gosh, you got, I almost feel like the drag queen Alaska going, "Ooh, burn." Okay, the trees, I'm slightly nervous what people might make of this. Okay, what is the average? The average star rating is 4.16. Oh, that's quite good. That is based on 4,147 ratings and 841 reviews. So let's have a look at some 5-star reviews, because it's another novel that I really loved even before the Booker Prize long list was announced. This one reviewer says, "Whoever you are, you need to set aside your thin skin for this one. The caustic, satirical humor poked at everyone, but especially those of us from the South, is what makes bearable the grisly, painful, slow-motion genocide that gives rise, pun intended, you'll get it after you read the book, to the arc of the story." Yeah, that's really interesting summation. Another 5-star review says, "A revenge fantasy, a horror story, a mystery, a thriller, literary, comic, satirical, deadly serious, literary." Great. I love that summation. Then some 1-star reviews of this. I'm a bit nervous about this. Okay. "I wish I didn't read this. Don't make my mistake." Okay, that is concise. Another 1-star review says, "I'm so upset with how this ended. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that it ended the way it did." Wow, okay. I found the ending to be very poignant and powerful, but yeah, other people have different opinions. Then we have Booth, which I am guessing will have like quite a few ratings because, yeah, this is quite a well-known author. So look up the page. It has an average star rating of 3.86, so that's quite respectable. That is based on 5,662 ratings and 1,097 reviews. So some snippets of 5-star reviews. There's one that says, "Let me cut right to the chase. This book, weighing in at nearly 500 pages, is unput-downable. I devoured it within days and I was sorry when it was over." Another 5-star review says, "This is a remarkable book. It's a great work of historical fiction, but it's also a fascinating examination of a dysfunctional family and generational trauma." That's a really great summation of this book. So then some 1-star reviews. One says, "When an author takes several years..." Sorry, let me start that again. I got that wrong. "When an author takes several pages to describe a child walking down the garden to pick up the mail, then I have to wonder if the editor, like me, fell asleep halfway through." Oh, burn. Another 1-star review says, "Very dry, reads like a newspaper report, no emotions or excitement, just flat reporting." Now this will be really intriguing. Treacle Walker, so look up its page, and it has an average star rating of 3.38. That is based on 1,363 ratings and 313 reviews. Some 5-star reviews say, "A quick read. This took me back to my childhood when I first discovered Alan Garner in the school library. There's playful and clever language. It reads like folklore or myth, and I just loved it." So I've never read Alan Garner before, so when I go to read this novel, I don't have any preconceptions about it. So it's interesting, some people's sort of almost sentimental attachment to this author. Another 5-star review says 150 pages of unput-downableness. Unput-downableness. I wish I could give it 10 points. Then there are some 1-star reviews. One says, "Absolute indecipherable nonsense." Just use my affronted British voice for that. "I can only presume that there's some kind of deeply niche knowledge required to make any sense of this, which I evidently don't have. Strong no from me." Another 1-star review says, "No idea how this got a Booker Prize nod. I mean, I do have an interest in English folklore and folklore in general, and this was a hot mess." Ooh, some, yeah, very different opinions on this. All right, we have The 7 Moons of Maali Almeida, another novel. I'm a bit nervous to look at some people's opinions on this. So what is the average star rating is 4.09. Yeah, very, very good, very respectable. That is based only on 335 ratings and 89 reviews. So yeah, this is one of those novels that I think just lots of people haven't been able to get a copy of it yet and to read it. And also, yeah, it's by a small publisher, so yeah, it hasn't had as much of readership than a lot of these other books. So which is a wonderful thing about the award. I'm so glad this book is a lot of people have shown a lot of interest in this since the shortlist was announced. Anyway, some 5-star reviews, quotes from this. There is one that says, "Probably one of the best books I've ever read. Breezy, intense, and effortlessly supernatural whodunit that at the same time is anything but simple." Yeah, that is such a great summation of this novel. Another 5-star review is by Daryl Sweet again, who says, "Moi, a grittier mashup of Lincoln in the Bardo and A Christmas Carol." that is wonderful. Yeah, really great. Yeah, I love how he points to those two texts. So now look at some 1-star reviews, and actually there are Well, there is only one-star rating, but no review is attached to this. So yeah, whatever the reasons, this one reader, one individual gave 1 star to it. They didn't describe their feelings or reactions or reasons for doing that. So that leaves me a little bit that I don't have to read any bad words about this novel. Next up, another book that I'm gonna say has probably been very popular and much read. So Small Things Like These, which has an average star rating of 4.19. So yeah, quite high. That is based on 21,284 ratings and 3,061 reviews. So yeah, that's a lot. Some 5-star reviews say, what a beautiful, thought-provoking novella this is. In my mind, there are several stories wrapped into one novella. Another 5-star review says, our holiday stories are so cloyingly flavored with sugar plums that Claire Keegan's Christmas novella tastes especially fresh. That's a really great way to put it. Then there are a couple 1-star reviews. I mean, there's multiple 1-star reviews, but a couple I'm gonna pick out. One says, here we have a novella which should have been a novel, frankly, to do the topic justice, if doing the topic justice was on the agenda. And then this reviewer ends the review saying, bah humbug. And another 1-star review says, I only read this book because it was a book club pick. I was so bored with it, even with it being a short read, I was beyond bored. Wow. Okay, case study. So on this page, there is an average star rating of 3.72. That is based on 2,083 ratings and 308 reviews. So some 5-star opinions of this book say, Graeme Macrae Burnet is an expert at creating something fictional and making it seem realistic. More than that, he can make you believe that the event or person actually existed. Very high praise. Another 5-star review says, I don't normally read the books longlisted for the Booker, but after spotting this in my local library a day or two after the announcement, I decided to give it a try. I was hooked right from the beginning and I could barely bring myself to put it down until I'd finished. Wow. Yeah, so some 1-star reviews of this book say, probably my worst read of the year so far. I can't say I liked anything about this book, nor did I care about any of the characters or about the plot. Wow. Another one says, I really struggled to get into this book. The idea seems really clever, and maybe if it was nonfiction, it would have worked better for me. But as a fiction novel, the switch between the diaries and biography was jarring. That's a really interesting opinion. Now for The Colony, which I think is a bit of a people's favorite. At least this is the novel that I've seen the most reaction to when the shortlist was announced, of people saying this really should have been on the shortlist. So let's see what the average rating is. The average rating is 4.22, so yeah, quite high. That is based on 2,239 ratings and 433 reviews. Some 5-star reviews of this book say, there's one from BookTube's own Fraser Simons, who says, I read this on the page as well as with an audio arc from NetGalley, and I must say the audio production was sublime for this one, with a fantastic narrator. So yeah, that's really great that he gives a perspective on both the text and the audiobook. Another 5-star review says, what a lovely and brilliant novel this is. The story, the language, the characters, and above all, the setting are wonderful. Yeah, totally agree. That's really great. Now for some 1-star reviews of this book that I really loved too. Okay, one says, How to Win a Booker. Pick a subject, any subject, and hide it beneath a ton of quirky style and lots of lists of words thrown randomly, red, blue, together, fried fish, meaningfully or meaninglessly, perhaps. Wow, that's very snarky take on this book. And another 1-star review says, the writing, the style, the vignettes in between, no thanks. No idea how this is longlisted for the Booker Prize. Maps of our spectacular bodies. I almost sounded a bit more morose there, didn't I? Spectacular bodies. So this has an average rating of 4.12, quite high. That is based on 980 ratings and 248 reviews. So there is a 5-star review that says, I'm just speechless and crying. Wow. Yeah. And another 5-star review that says, in writing that teeters between poetry and prose, this spellbinding novel written by a young woman who hasn't even reached 30 yet captures something incredibly real about the human condition and the nebulous line between life and death, body and soul, love and despair, mothers and daughters, suffering and redemption. What a beautiful, heartfelt recommendation for this novel. That's really great. Now for some 1-star reviews of this book. One says, I didn't care for it and I didn't even know who was narrating at times. Yeah, okay. Another 1-star review says, purple prose with random line breaks plus graphic design is my passion, font gimmickry, all swirling smoke and mirrors to obfuscate a bunch of bland paper dolly characters. Wow, that is quite a burn. Nightcrawling, another novel which has proven very popular, Oprah's book club pick and all of that, and another book that I loved before the long list was even announced. So this has an average star rating of 4.16. That is based on 9,082 ratings and 1,571 reviews. So some 5-star opinions on this book. Very, very tough read, but an absolutely amazing book. The writing is so extremely well done, and I cannot believe that the writer started writing this book when she was only 17. And yeah, that is incredible that she is that young. Another 5-star review says, Leila Mottley has taken a story that blazed on local news several years ago and with an amazing flash of brilliance turned it into this incredible novel. Great, totally agree with those opinions. Now for some 1-star reviews. One says, I was excited to start reading this novel based on the description and the preface from the editor. It started off well, but after a while the pace slowed to a crawl. Even more disturbing is that this novel really depressed me. Okay, well, yeah, not all novels are supposed to just completely cheer you up, but okay, have to respect some different readers' opinions. Another 1-star review says, DNF, I wanted to like this, but I could neither connect with the writing style or the characters, so I gave up a third of the way through. Okay, fair enough. After Sappho, this is another novel which I assume won't have had too many ratings or opinions, so let's look. The average star rating is 3.79. That is based on only 477 ratings and 131 reviews. So some 5-star reviews say, After Sappho combines everything I love in fiction, seductive prose, fictionalized history, experimentation in form, and the invitation to go on a parallel multimedia adventure. Wow, that's a wonderful description. Another 5-star review says, from my my lovely friend Vivek, who I've just known him online through bookie things for years and years. And I know he's a big fan of this novel. So he says, After Sappho is a song that must be heard by all. It is a paean that generations of people must pay attention to, of the struggles, the triumphs, the failures, and then of winning, and the struggle to keep it all of it sustained. Schwartz takes us through fragments of the lives of historical women, transporting us across time from 1880s Italy to 1920s Paris and London. What a wonderful summation of this novel. Now, some one-star reviews. One says, "Nope, this wasn't for me. I should have known better, as it is from the same publisher as Duck's Newburyport." Ooh, burn for the publisher. Oh, now I do not agree with that. Another one-star review says, "I felt this book was too intellectual, with too much academia and not enough feeling. Not a book to read if you are looking for a story. It's hard work to read as it's little snippets jumping around, and after a glass of wine, it was hopeless to follow." So yeah, I completely understand that opinion. I mean, especially if you're drinking while reading this book, I can imagine it would be hard to follow. And finally, we have William. So let's look at this. There is an average star rating of 3.89. That is based on, wow, 47,224 ratings and 5,310 reviews. So let me just pick out a few of some 5-star reviews. One says, "Do we ever really know anyone? Do we ever know ourselves as well as we think we do? Elizabeth Strout has a keen understanding of the human condition." Yeah, that's really wonderful way to put it. Another 5-star review says, "Having just finished reading O. William by Elizabeth Strout, I have an incredible urge to go back immediately to the beginning for a second reading in order to treat myself again to this author's beautiful prose and story." Yeah, isn't that such a wonderful feeling when you finish a novel? You just want to go right back to the beginning and start it all over again. Yeah, I love it when I have that when I finish a book. Now, for some 1-star ratings. One says, "Oh dear, my second try with Elizabeth Strout and my second failure. I just can't seem to connect to this writing style somehow. It's clear and transparent, but when I think I'm supposed to feel emotional pain and wryness, I just feel annoyance." Wow. So yeah, I mean, that's sort of fair enough. Yeah, if that's their response to it and to Strout's writing. Another 1-star review says, "This was not the book for me. I did finish it, but mostly only to see if I would start liking it more. For one, I wasn't the right demographic. Maybe my MIL would have liked it more." Oh, that means mother-in-law, doesn't it? Okay, yeah, that's really interesting opinion. So yeah, so those are all the average star ratings for all of these novels. So let me go through and top them all up and see which ones come out on the top. So I've gone through and I have looked at all of the average star ratings again, and this would be the shortlist according to the People's Booker Prize. All of these books have an average star rating of over 4 stars, and all the other ones have slightly under that. So it's quite easy to go through and find all of these. And yeah, really interesting because this group has only 3 novels in common with the actual Booker Prize shortlist. So yeah, some agreements, some disagreements, but the overall winner with an average star rating of 4.22 stars would be The Colony by Audrey Magee. And I know a lot of readers would be very happy that this would be the popular choice because yeah, like I said, I've seen so many reactions of people to reacting to the shortlist, saying that they wish this was on the shortlist, and I wish it was on the this shortlist as well, because yeah, I'd read it earlier this year. I absolutely loved this novel, and yeah, really took it into my heart, and was I know a lot of people were hoping and expecting to see it go all the way with this year's Booker Prize, but at least in terms of the official prize, it won't be so. But yeah, at least it got a good Booker nod for this year. So yeah, that is looking at all of the books based on the GoodReads ratings and reviews. Let me know if you agree with this alternative shortlist or not, or if there are other books or another combination of books you would put on it, and do you wish The Colony had won this year's award? But also, yeah, what do you think about the the idea of opening up the Booker Prize to, you know, a more democratic view or a different way of judging the award, like how would you ideally arrange it so that the best book of the year would be like picked and declared? Like, would it be from a larger group of judges? Would it be just completely open to the public for everyone could put in their votes? I mean, for quite a while there was running a Not the Booker Prize, which was totally democratic, but then was obviously totally open to corruption because people could submit multiple times the same book and really campaign for a certain book to be on there, and whereas other books, you know, wouldn't get that same privilege. So yeah, there's no one way of deciding what is the best book of the year, and really that is all part of the fun of book prizes, because then we get to have these debates and discussions about books even more intensely, you know, than we do just discussing what we're reading with our friends and our book clubs and yeah, all of that. So that is why I enjoy following it so much, and I hope you do too. But thank you for watching, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye bye.